All right, so if you're watching this video right now, there's a good chance that you're possibly looking at opening up your own real estate brokerage. Doing a little bit of research, what does it look like? Well, in this video, I'm going to dive in and kind of let you know from my experience what it's like opening and owning a real estate brokerage. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Pete Sweeney, always talking about the future for real estate brokerages. All right, cool. So we're going to take this into a completely different spectrum, right? What is it like owning a real estate brokerage? So there's a few things out there I'm going to throw to you right now. First one's being is you definitely have to switch your mindset over from being an agent and to being an actual business owner. That's it. The mindset about I'm going to do all these deals and still own my brokerage kind of goes by the wayside. You have to figure out something else. So some of the top brokerages I've kind of, these other owners I talked to while I had my brokerage, in order to become truly successful in being a brokerage owner, you have to have at least 200 agents and then still be able to offer up those resources too. Being in real estate, we have a mindset, I'd say like 6 figures is at least a bare minimum of what we want to earn. If you run a real estate brokerage, do you really want to run a real estate brokerage making less than that? So here's the kind of what I ran into with running a real estate brokerage. I'm going to dive back a little bit as to why I initially started a real estate brokerage. And it was all led by passion. It was all led by fulfillment. I have a true passion for masterminding, for collaboration with other agents. And that was the biggest, that was the pinnacle of why we decided to open our brokerage. We wanted to do something different. Funny thing is, it's similar to kind of what EXP is doing. So it's funny that, this is back in, I think, 2014 when we opened up the brokerage. In doing that, it was great, guys. I'm gonna tell you right now, like we had some great. The main hub. I feel like that was a success for our brokerage was our masterminds. God, I got fired up in those all the time because all you do is you sit down, you come to problems with the tables, and you all put your heads together and you come up with solutions. It was freaking amazing. The energy was high. Everyone there was just awesome. It was super cool. Here's the thing. Those moments where you kind of have that collaboration and the camaraderie are very limited in owning a real estate brokerage because just like I said, you're running a business. So guess what that means? When you're first starting off, you're most likely not going to be able to afford an admin. You're going to be taking care of the back end on the CRMs. You're going to be having to find a transaction software. All the rules and regulations that you got to make sure your agents are abiding by. It becomes such a task when you have those minimal agents. I'd say probably, the most that we had was like 15 agents, and it was still, we were making great money in regards to the brokerage goes, but I still just didn't reach that point where we kind of had that extra person doing the back end, and it ended up becoming where I saw that my agents were killing it. They're all making money. They're all coming up here, and guess where I was? I was up here, and I started slowly declining. My money, like I said, I was making so much less in commissions. Well, I got to a point where I was trying to do the whole be an agent and brokerage owner at the same time, but I couldn't do anything right. Nothing was done to the fullest of my abilities, and so I finally had to step away, pay myself a small salary with was nothing, guys. It was nothing. It seriously was me living off my savings I had from when I was a hardcore agent before, living off that and then helping everyone else. But when I realized is that these agents they were becoming super successful under us, what we were doing, leaving, and then I was left with making pennies off of the hundreds that they're making, per hour. It's so time consuming. There is a sense of pride of ownership in it. There is, like I said, our brand, believe me, we had everything printed up. We had our insignia all over our shirts, our hats. There's something to be said, and you were so much more well respected when you were in the real estate community saying that you own a real estate brokerage. But I feel like that's the ego talking. What is your goal in real estate? If you're going real estate, obviously there's something in your mindset about opening a brokerage, but that's why you're watching this video right now. But if your mindset in real estate is to create fulfillment in every area of your life, what does that look like for you? And what kind of vehicle can do that for you? Because the whole mindset about owning a real estate brokerage sounds so appealing, but will it really do what you want to do? Are you willing to take phone calls at all hours of the night on the weekends too from agents who have questions in regards to contracts or anything else in regards to a transaction? Are you willing to kind of do that back end and fix something in the CRM, be on the phone with tech support for an hour just trying to figure something out? there's so much more in owning a real estate brokerage. And I'm not going to, by any means, there's some people out there who have done a great job of doing this. They've been able to blow it up. They're doing great. But even then, I've seen brokerage owners who still talk about how it's just not fulfilling to them. They don't feel like they're making what they should be making. And there's only a select few that have been able to do it. And it's just like, I've seen people step away and they're like, all right, I'm going to hand it all to you. And now I'm just going to sit over here and just take a paycheck, right? Great. That's fine. But what is it that your goal is? If your goal is to, like I said, have the fulfillment in every single area of your life, familial, in your health, making sure that you're not working every weekend, maybe you should rethink that a little bit. I'm just saying, it's like, because starting out a real estate brokerage, having a real estate brokerage is a lot of work. It's a ton of work, and it takes a toll on your family. If you're single, sure, whatever. But I mean, what's true happiness in constantly working all the time? There's so many people out there who say that they could grind until they're freaking, bloody in the hands, everything. There's still a sense, why are we on this planet? It's not to sit here and freaking grind till we're dead, and then what? It wasn't worth anything, building that legacy. Believe me, Elon Musk, I highly respect the guy, but at the same time, there's articles out there how he talks about how he had to miss, weddings and these and whatever, and he regrets it. There's regret there. He has a mindset about building a legacy. The man wants to die on Mars. Okay, fine, but for what? So there's a true sacrifice and kind of doing those things of constantly grinding and going to the wall. So what is your true goal in real estate? That's what you really need to ask yourself. Real estate brokerage, it is very time consuming. It does take up a lot of, your mind, your wits. It's probably going to take up a lot of your salary, how much you're getting paid every year. Because if you're a killer agent and that's something that you want to do, plan on taking a pay cut. I'm just saying right now, unless you decide to go in and start a brokerage with maybe like 5 other people where you can all kind of share the responsibilities. In my brokerage, there was 2 of us. There's me and Justin Cruz, so they were the 2 owners, and there was a ton for us to do, guys. Something else I also want to hit on about the truth about owning your real estate brokerage: retention. You start a brokerage, you have a great mindset towards everything. You think it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread, right? Retention, no matter what, guys, it's going to be a problem. Believe me, we bent over backwards making sure that our agents had everything that they needed: CRMs, transaction softwares, marketing materials. We did this huge freaking, tens of $1,000 rebrand to do everything we could so that everyone kind of had their own thing and everything. And guess what? We still lost top teams because we're a team brokerage. And that's hard. I mean, when you put so much sacrifice, so much effort into something, and then it just decides to leave, it's a hard thing. It's a hard pill to swallow. Believe me, like I lost one of my top teams right at the height of COVID. So talk about depression and, being locked down, drinking all the time. Holy crap. But retention is hard. And when you have a pride and ownership in your real estate brokerage and you spend all this time on people, you have to have some thick skin. You have to make sure that you're not making too much of friends or building that relationship too much with those agents, because I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen. Retention, you are going to lose people. There are very few agents out there who are, when you build something like that, who are truly dedicated to helping you with that vision. We had a great system in place. Like I said, we had this whole profit sharing platform and everything. And the retention, we were still losing some of our top teams. And it got to the point where it was just, they thought they didn't need us anymore. We kind of taught them how to do great things. And they're like, well, I'm going to go out and do this on my own. Or I'm going to go in this brokerage so they could offer me more. Or there's always that other level that the grass is greener on the other side. And that's honestly, like, I feel like that retention piece, it did suck watching everyone else kind of making way more money than I was while I was kind of getting pay cuts and all that stuff running the brokerage. But I'm going to tell you, retention is probably the number one thing that got me looking elsewhere as to why to close down my brokerage, why I finally decided, all right, this is it. I'm all about my family. I'm a family guy. I need to make sure that I'm going to put my family first, because I've been putting this beast of a brokerage before everything else, and it's not doing me any good. And so there are so many truths out there that I highly recommend sitting down with other brokerage owners, getting their take about what it's like to run a brokerage, because it is not that shiny object that we all kind of keep seeing. Believe me, I did it, and all I say is do your research. Kind of sit down with other people, kind of take their word for it. And you know what? If you do decide to open your brokerage, I wish you all the prosperity, all the success in the world. But plan on a complete uphill process getting there. So glad I could share this with you guys. Like I said, if you have any questions in regard to this, I'm going to throw my phone number in right below. My email is going to follow right after. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you like this video. If you want to see more, I'm constantly putting out videos talking about the future for the real estate brokerage. Until next time, bye.